Welcome back to the Kettle and Cord Kitchen. Today we're making Pavlovas with rosewater whipped cream and red wine-poached figs. Pavlovas are a classic Australian dessert. They've got cream, they've got seasonal fruit on top. Let's get started. So I've got 4 room temperature egg whites over here. These are just gonna go straight into the mixer. I'm gonna start it on a low speed, let it get a little bit frothy, and then we're gonna add the rest of our ingredients. The egg whites are looking perfectly frothy. I'm about to put in 1/4 teaspoon of cream of tartar and 1/4 teaspoon of fine sea salt. The cream of tartar helps the meringue stabilize, which is what you want. You want a stable meringue, you don't want it weepy. Now we're gonna get the mixer on a little bit of a higher speed, 6 to 8. We're gonna let the whites get pretty frothy, pretty whipped. As the meringue is whipping and it's starting to get stable, I'm gonna start pouring in some of this mixture. I've got a cup of superfine sugar, a teaspoon and 1/4 of cornstarch, just tablespoon by tablespoon. It's gonna help the meringue stabilize and get big and frothy. Just to show you what this meringue should look like, pretty much you wanna have stiff peaks of meringue. Like if you turn your finger upside down, this should still be pointing, it shouldn't be drooping, bending. If you turn your whisk or your mixer upside down, you'll have stiff peaks. Using my spatula, I am gonna add in a teaspoon of white vinegar. That helps the meringue kind of stabilize just like the cream of tartar and keep in the air bubbles that we just whipped in. So let's do that. And a teaspoon of vanilla extract. And I'm just gonna gently mix that in with the meringue. So you're just gonna use gentle folding motions to get that fully incorporated, and perfect, we're done. Let's get these things shaped. I have a baking sheet, I have my meringue, and I have, voila, a baking paper. Let's get the baking paper on the cookie sheet, and now we're just gonna scoop out Pavlovas 2 to 3 inches in diameter, and we're gonna shape them and keep a couple of inches of space apart between them on the baking sheet. So this is gonna get sticky, you have been warned. So now we're just gonna add a little bit more meringue to each one and get in there with your finger and shape that. Try to get a nice little circle. And then we're gonna make kind of a dip in the center so we can hold all of that delicious cream and fruit that we're gonna be putting in. And this does bake up the way that you shape it, so if you have any peaks standing out, it gives character, it can look rustic, or you can get in there and try to make it as perfect as possible. Once you've shaped out your Pavlovas to look exactly how you want to, you're gonna stick these in the oven. Meringues bake at a pretty low temperature, so we're doing 225 for around an hour and 20 minutes. While the meringues are in the oven, we're gonna make the rosewater whipped cream. We have 2 cups of whipped cream. You can use a vegan substitute. I like Rich Whip. Pour it into your mixer. And for the rosewater, I'm using this Middle Eastern brand, Sadaf. This is what I found in my grocery store. It smells really good. You're just gonna get a tiny drop of this in there. Otherwise, if you go overboard, it's gonna taste like perfume. Whipped. Let's head over to the stovetop and prep the last component for our recipe, the red wine poached figs. So I have a cup of dry red wine, I have 2 strips of orange zest, a couple of black peppercorns, a stick of cinnamon, and I'm just gonna add a 1/4 cup of honey. That's gonna go in with the red wine and boil to give it some nice fall flavor, get a little bit rich, deep. Once the stovetop mixture is bubbling, we're gonna add in the fresh figs. So I've got 8 to 12 fresh figs. We're just gonna twist the tops off, just like that, and put it in. Once we have the figs in the pot, we're just gonna let them sit here for around 10 minutes, kind of at a simmer, a low boil. The figs poached for 10 minutes. I took those out of the liquid. I transferred the liquid to a smaller pot, and now we're gonna reduce that. We're gonna get it to a boil and let it get thick, syrupy, concentrated in flavor. Now that we have all of the components of our recipe prepped, let's get to assembling these beauties. I'm taking a little bit of the rosewater whipped cream, just a scoop. Next, we're just gonna top these little things with a couple of the red wine poached figs. I have some that I halved, some that I quartered, They're very pretty, they're very delicious. Now that we put the figs on top of the cream, we're gonna take some of that red wine sauce that we reduced and just drizzle it lightly, finely over each pavlova. Last but not least, for a little bit of bright color, we're going with fresh pomegranate seeds. Sprinkle those willy-nilly all over. And now to finish this off, we're just gonna top these pavlovas off with some fresh green mint leaves, color contrast, refreshing flavor, because the red wine can get a little bit heavy, you know what I'm saying. We made pavlovas, we're all done. Check these guys out. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you make this dessert. If you do, I want to see a picture. Have a wonderful holiday. Shana Tova.